at this point, we have seen so many analysts trying to game out coronavirus and its impact. And yet every company that comes out, we saw it yesterday with NVIDIA, which had really great guidance for the quarter to come, but predicting $100 million impact to the bottom line. Jim, how are you thinking about coronavirus and how it affects your investments today?
Well, I've changed a ton about how I'm thinking about it. If you caught me 3 weeks ago, I would have said this was going to be a major economic impact and the uncertainty of it was going to drive the stock market down. And I did say that. And I think what I missed is that there's a couple things. One, I think we're going to expect China to throw a lot of stimulus at the issue. I think the U.S. Fed is poised to protect us if asset prices started to decline precipitously. And at the end of the day, and this, by the way, this is still a theory in beta, but the dollar's rallied, the stocks have rallied. I think there might be somewhat of a global thirst for dollar-denominated assets because this is hugely a global problem. And if every central bank is going to throw money at the problem, it's going to end up to the cleanest shirt, to use a very, very tired and trite metaphor. But it's going to end up in the best place, and that's going to be the U.S. And I think when we see headlines come out, the stock market gets hit initially, but then as kind of cooler heads prevail, it seems like the stock market rallies along with the dollar, along with the 10-year, and along with gold.
How much is the Fed prepared, or how much of an arsenal does it really have right now? It's lowered rates at this point. And then we saw them trying to ease back a little bit on repo yesterday, and we saw how the markets reacted to that, turning from green back to red. So, Jim, how much of a backstop is there?
Well, I think, and if you heard Jay Powell speak on Tuesday, he sounded unconcerned, but the market, I don't think, really believes him. To answer your question about how much they have left, they have plenty left. They could do QE and knock the 10-year down, to zero. There's still 200 basis points between the U.S. and Germany. I mean, Germany is operating at negative 0.4 right now. So they have plenty to go. Whether or not it's going to help anything other than asset prices, I'm not convinced of. But, my job is to look at equity markets, look at interest rate markets, and think what's going to happen in the future. I think they could support the stock market. I'm not sure they can support the economic condition.
You talked a little bit about this thirst for U.S. dollar-backed equities. What about gold right now? We're seeing it climb. Just showed the chart, 1579. You're predicting 1600?
Yeah, 1,600 on the very short term. I think it could go higher than that as well. And I'm looking to add longs in that. And I think the fundamental base of that is that the Fed, China's coming, will come into the rescue. I think at the end of the day, as we go forward, people realize that our rates can't really go up that high. Global rates are anchored low. There's an arbitrage between the two. If we fear that the Fed's going to come back in and be dovish over the next year, I think there's going to be a thirst for, non-fiat currencies, and gold and even Bitcoin could do well because of that too. But particularly, I'm looking at gold.
Okay, one more here. Let's talk oil. We're looking at oil this morning about $51.50 a barrel. Brent's at about $56.41. What do you think the impact is globally if demand is slumping in China because of coronavirus?
Well, I think demand is slumping, and I think it will continue to do so. But I think what we're seeing at this 50 level is the push-pull. It's the push of global demand destruction with the pull of the potential for OPEC to start trying to jawbone prices higher by talking about production cuts. And right now, I look at the market and think that the jawboning is winning. The confirmation of that for me will be when WTI trades above 52, maybe 52 and a half. But I think they've found some good support at 50, and as we see this kind of conflict resolve.